Hello, everyone, and welcome to the virtual California Speedway. It is the dawn of a new era on Wednesday night. The Horizon IndyCar League, put together out of the remnants of the votive league that would run here in this time slot. Matt Wagner has formed a new group to take part in a championship, and we are here at California for the inaugural race. Now, it is a familiar crew. The Wreck, Ryan Eric King, is with me in the booth, and we have got a action-packed evening ready for you this evening. Ryan, tell the viewers what they've won.
Oh, you've won an incredible night of super speedway racing at Fontana.
The track that no longer exists. Well, parts of it exist, I guess. The area immediately around the paddock and part of the grandstand. The rest of it is Amazon warehouses. But tonight, the virtual version remains, and we are set for 125 laps, 250 miles of IndyCar action. We're getting ready to go to qualifying. We've got some familiar names here tonight, Ryan. Names that we have seen in this time slot before. Will Stearns, Nick Wheeler, past champion. I can't talk, and that's not good news. The past champion of the league is here, Josh Cruz. But we've also got some new names that we haven't seen here before. Craig Forsyth has joined us. Eric Peterson from the Area 51 and Dark Horse Leagues. He has joined us. And so the competition level has been ratcheted up too. Julian Altena, the head of the VOR League, he's in the race tonight. So we've got some fast guys in here, Ryan.
Yeah, it should be a really fun, exciting night of racing. The races here always come down to that last stint, and in some cases, the last corner and the run to the line. You never really have a decisive winner until the very end.
You don't, and we're going to take a look. We're going to get the board up. Qualifications have begun here at California. We've got about 3 minutes. Gary Lovern on the provisional pole, 219, 434. That is a far cry from the outright track record here. Gilles de Ferran torched this joint in 2002, 240 miles an hour, folks. That he had that car affectionately known as the Rinsky tuned up that day for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just the high speeds make mistakes that do happen on iRacing even more catastrophic and usually race-ending here.
You know, and that's very true. We're gonna see some close racing. This often turns into a fuel save race, though. We're looking at a 3 to 4 stop race. The fuel tanks, if they are full, you can do roughly 40 laps in the draft. At full tilt, it's more like 35. If there are fuel limits in this formula, Ryan, we could wind up in a situation where we're seeing guys make 4 and 5 pit stops, and saving fuel is always a huge, huge deal here at Fontana.
Yeah, and especially if you have to make these stops under green, it's all about getting down to the limit, making sure you don't get a penalty, and you exit pit road and rejoin the track safely.
Absolutely. We do already have quite a few people watching, 21 of you out there. We do want to let everybody know, as we continue to await the start of the race, that Matt Wagner, the series director, has put a unique prize on offer, and the fans out there can get in on it. So, Ryan, I didn't know if you knew this or not, but Mark Cohn, the man known affectionately as the Watchman, and known as the Watchman for his extremely fine collection of watches. But Mark the Watchman has decided to put up a watch that is going to be raffled away for this series. Everybody entered in the series gets a slice and a chance, but anybody who is willing to throw a few bucks the way of the P1 Broadcasting Network via our GoFundMe in the chat, if you identify yourself, you will also be entered in the spinny wheel drawing, and Matt Wagner is going to do that at the final race. We are not talking about Ryan Eric King's Timex, my friends. Mark the Watchman has some pretty fine pieces. He put up a watch for the winner of the Dark Horse 500 that currently sits on my wrist and it is a Citizen Echo Drive checkered flag edition. So, checkered edition. So it is. They are not the Casios that you get at Walmart. So if you want a chance to get in on that action, hit us up in the GoFundMe link. Make sure you put your name in there, and Matt will get you a slice of pizza on the spinny wheel for the end. Do want to say hello to Kohai, who's in the chat. Says go Frankie. Go Frankie win. I followed him around in Indianapolis last night. That dude is fast. And LGN has joined the chat. He's doing double duty, monitoring the social for both ourselves, and it's another first tonight, Ryan. We've got a double header going. Stephen and Gary are at Bathurst doing the Formula Indy Series race out there too.
Yeah, busy night at P1.
It most certainly is. It's about to be a busy night here in virtual California. On the pole, 220.133 miles an hour. The Cat, Dan Durazo, Mason Mitchum is going to start to his outside. Edson Santos and Kyle Klindworth, the Clindy, my broadcast partner for Monday night. They're going to be on row 2. Jason Collins, Frank Wynn, row 3. Stephen Lee. Now that's a name you haven't seen in a league environment before, but Stephen, up from top split, he's going to join us in the league environment tonight. He goes 7th, right next to series director Matty Wagner in the 6th. He'll be 8th. Julian Altena, the VOR series director, is 9th. Nick Wheeler will start 10th. On row 6, Alex Miller, Will Stearns. Row 7, Craig Forsyth and Eric Peterson. Gary Lovern and Yari Brubaker will start 15th and 16th. Andrew Sorowak, 17th. Hugo Gallas, 18th. Shane Coker, the votive chairman, he is 19th. And Brian Greenlee will go 20th. In 21st, Baron Glover. 22nd, Montgomery Spencer. 23rd, Alex Muller. The 17th row is shared with Lilith Fox. And then Josh Cruz took one slow lap, 200.493. He will start 25th. Josh Ward, 26th. That is the votive series champion. Rick Sanchez is going to go 27th. And not posting a time along with Ward and Sanchez, Greg Robinson, shotgun on the field, lined up by iRating. He is going to be 28th. That is your starting lineup. That's pretty close together there.
Yeah, it's sort of clear that as long as there's no funny business out there, everyone can stay in one big pack.
There will be no funny business in the booth. We can tell you that. Hello, Amy. We'll tell Shaner you made it. There's Clindy rolling away in the votive machine. You've got Durazo in the Corona livery. He is on the pole. Mason Mitchum with the Flames. He's outside. Santos in the familiar leaner energy car. He is going to be on row 2 inside of Clindy. And then you've got Jason Collins, Frank Wynn right behind them. Stephen Lee is also back in that mix. There's Stephen, the familiar Ed Carpenter Racing livery. And I think my Trading Paints just decided to blank out on me. Ryan, let's get that guy going again. We want to show the fans the paint. All sorts of technical fun happens when you try to do these, especially for the first time in a league. It can get pretty interesting.
Yeah, you sort of have to hot fix your way to something workable.
It happens, but Trading Paints will load up here for us momentarily. The pace car, the lights are out on that Mustang. It is getting ready to turn to the left, hard left. We're going to get up on the flag stand. We're going to watch Barney wave it. The green flag is about to be in the air. The Horizon IndyCar Series inaugural race is on.
Oh, good start there.
Durazo is going to lead him away. He is followed by Mason Mitchum, Edson Santos, Kyle Klindworth, and Jason Collins as they roar down the backstretch. And you see the paint start to light up. So thankfully, Trading Paints has decided to work its magic to the inside. Mason Mitchum in the Renault colored machine. He is going to go for the lead on Daniel Durazo. The first lap in Horizon League history is going to be led by Mason Mitchum. Durazo second, Santos third.
Yeah, you can see pretty much the field all the way back, fanning out, using every inch of the track. Just one thing about Fontana, there's so many different places you can go to be fast around here, but the key is to always try to get as much clean air as you can on the front wing.
It most certainly is, and a lot of guys tend to like to kind of like the high side here, just to kind of save your stuff. We're seeing Mitchum and Durazo run in lanes 1 and 2, but following Edson Santos there, and hello, Leo, Leonardo Pereira joining us in the chat. But you're seeing Edson, he's kind of shading up there in lane 3, and what that means, and all the way up to the fence, Stephen Lee, he's going to challenge Clindy for 5th, but you're seeing guys vary their lines. The right front tire here, Ryan, it's going to take a beating, and so it's going to be important to find the clean air and use your right foot to preserve as much grip as you can, really.
Yeah, probably the only worry I have anytime I run up against the fence at Fontana is when you get later in the runs and the guys on the inside and their tires start wearing, they push up the track and corner exit, and you either hope that you're not in their way or you have to lift to give them the room to slide up the track.
Yeah, you most certainly do. Mason Mitchum has secured that lead from Daniel Durazo. Edson Santos third, but the man on the mission right now, that's Stephen Lee. He's going to try to pull the outside of Edson. He has to back out of it. Already getting chippy at the front. Let's get on board with Stephen Lee and follow him around here. We are on the roll hoop of the number 31 machine, and he's going to give it another go to the top side. See him work the throttle, Ryan. He's working.
We got a car around.
Caution is out.
That is Nick Wheeler in the black and green votive machine. Caution is on the speedway, and let's go back in time and see what we can see on the car of Nick Wheeler. He's running along there. He's got Hugo Gallas. He's a Vor sandwich. He's got all 3 of the VOR machines around him. That's Velocity Online Racing. That's Altena in the front, Lovren in the middle, and you've got Hugo Gallas out back of Nick Wheeler, and it appears as though he's just going to get touched by the 24. That's Andrew Sorowak, and he'll spin harmlessly, really, through the infield. He does lose some body work. Nothing hit though on the Nick Wheeler machine, so he should be able to get back into this thing. Some side pod damage, though, for the 88 of Nick Wheeler.
Yeah, could have been far worse. Nick's still in this, obviously. Side pod damage isn't really repairable, so he won't be at 100%.
And the games have already begun. We're watching Santos, Lee, Forsyth, Wagner, others. About half the field is going to elect to come on down. They're going to get some gas. Maybe tires, maybe not, we'll see. But already the strategy is gonna start to play here.
Yeah, because you're not going to be able to cut a stop out of your run, but you top up the tank. It's a pack race. You can work your way back up to the front, and you can stay out a little bit longer.
Now that's key here, and we saw Collins. Edson. Edson did not take tires. Stephen Lee did, I believe, not. Stephen Lee did take tires. Santos was the only car that went gas only. Everybody else got tires. I was just looking at the scoring rundown. We'll take a look at Nick Wheeler. His car is off of pit road, and I do believe that the mechanics have repaired the right side pod. It does have the proper kickflip on it. That's just a bolt-on, snap-on piece of bodywork, of course. So not a difficult change. It just takes a few seconds, and under caution, you can affect that repair. You wonder, though, Ryan, is he going to have any of that dreaded hidden damage?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that's always wait and see. You always have to wait and see how the car feels in the toe. You look at the speedometer, see where you're topping out at, see if if it's the same figure as it was before. It's something that I always worry about when it happens to me, because it's sort of like
Clindy's coming back down here, by the way.
Ooh.
Now Clindy did not stop on that first stretch, and I wonder if Kyle's just coming back to top it up and kind of playing the long game. Beautiful looking car, aqua white P1 on the side, votive. You gotta love it. It's a good looking machine, and he is gonna get tires, so that's an interesting. Are we looking at tire limits here today, Ryan? Can you check that for us?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
I did not. I was a complete failure. Leonardo was absolutely right. The classic Renault paint job on Mason Mitchum as Clindy gets down and away. We'll go ahead and show that. That's a good looking car. Gary Godso, the channel founder, sometimes not a fan of the F1 or NASCAR liveries on an Indy car, but he seems to be pretty partial to that one. So Mason Mitchum leads it.
And yeah, based on the rules, unlimited sets, so slap them on if you got them.
There you go. Now we'll see how this plays out. Those guys do have 7 laps in hand in the gas tank, and that can be huge here. And Ryan, we'll talk about that as we get ready to come back to green. We'll get up on the flag stand with Barney. The pace car is ready to duck on off, and we are about ready to have racing resume here.
Green flag, green flag.
It's a good break for Mason Mitchum. He pulls away from Durazo in second, Stearns in third. And we are back underway as the entire field will flash under Barney, holding the green flag. Here we go.
Yeah.
Everybody safely through turns 1 and 2. You always worry on a restart. They're 3 wide back here. We're going to have to show Forsyth, Clindworth et al. Because they got racy here at the drop of the green flag. Those are guys on new tires. If you're back there and you have old tires on your car, Alex Muller is certainly in that group. You're about to be in a hornet's nest of trouble. That's Craig Forsyth. He's looking to the inside of Lith Fox. Or the outside, excuse me. He's gotten past Muller. But these guys on new tires, they need to get going, and they need to get going quick.
Yeah, because the advantage from the offset will quickly fade away within a handful of laps. So they need to use that peak grip when they have it.
Absolutely. You're watching a heck of a duel there. That's Forsyth. He restarted in 20th spot. He's already up to 17th. He is looking for more. You got to get while the getting's good here if you're Craig Forsyth. But what I meant to say in terms of those 7 laps, that can prove big. This is not Pocono or Indianapolis where you can stop and not lose a lap. If you make a pit stop under green, you're going to go a lap down. And so you may latch onto the back of the lead draft, but you're going to go a lap down. And if a caution comes out in that moment, they're going to split. They're going to split Montgomery Spencer there. But if you wind up in a situation where there's a caution in that cycle, you're absolutely going to be in a world of hurt because you're going to be a lap down. And in these big races like this, there always tends to be somebody either on entry or exit that loses the rear end of the car, either trying to get down to speed, Ryan, or trying to get back up to speed. The apron is slick.
Yeah, and super speed lost my train of thought there. Super speedway racing always rewards long runners. Like, it's when there's less distance ahead of you, there's fewer variables to what could happen towards the end of the race. So just by simply being out there, you better your chances of knowing what's next.
Absolutely. That we kind of saw that last night in the Indianapolis top split race. That was also on P1. That was 50 laps, so 125 miles, half the distance that we're going to go here tonight. But it was one long run and one short run, and you had pit strategy. The window opened at lap 20, and you had strategies in that race all over the place. And so it was kind of interesting to see how that played out. In the end, it was the long runners that were rewarded, myself included. I managed to very slowly and sneakily get my way up to 5th in that race. No idea how that happened. Won, of course, by Robert Malechka, because who else? Has that guy lost a race in Indianapolis lately, Ryan?
Oh, it's probably been years since he's lost at Indy.
You know, we used to call Brandon Traynor the king of the bricks. I'm going to start calling Robert just the king of everything, because that guy is so fast. Watching Edson Santos, he is 10th. Hugo Gala is 9th. Gary Lovren is 8th. Julian Altina is 7th. So the Vor cars, and we'll show them, they are in a train, all three, similarly liveried cars, just the colors are different. But they are working as a group to slice through this field, and I think they kind of want to get to the front here. Julian would never try to get to the front, would he, Ryan?
Oh, he would be there before we even said yes.
He's trying, but they're starting to get into quicker territory. We'll show Frank Wynn here. He is 6th. He's run everywhere from 8th to 4th. He's currently in the middle of that. He is 6th. You've got Alex Miller in the 49 right ahead of him. And we'll show Alex here, give him his due. Running in the top 5. That's Alex Miller in the green and black machine. He is 5th. Right below him is Daniel Durazo, the cat. Daniel is 4th. 3rd is Eric Peterson. He's the Dark Horse Series director, but he's having a fine run in the IR18 tonight. Normally, we see him in the DW12. And while we were, as Clindy says, taking attendance, Ryan, we got a doozy of a battle for the lead. It looks like Mason Mitchum has started a swap with Will Stearns.
Yes, it seems to be less of the tactic that we normally see in terms of swapping. Well, really getting dicey there. Less in terms of swapping to, say, catch someone ahead of you or pull away, but simply to share the fuel load up front, because when you're leading, you obviously can't draft off of someone to save fuel.
That's very true. It's also a tactic that you can use to kind of control the field a little bit. If you got somebody up there that you trust, and certainly Mason and Will do trust each other. They raced well together all season in the votive series when it was on Wednesdays. Those two, though, to be completely fair about it, they know each other. They know each other are fast. And they're not trying to pull away so much as they're trying to deny Durazo, Peterson, and Miller a chance to build a run on them.
Yes.
Lith Fox had a shout out for Lith Fox in the chat. There they are, running 14th to 15th, battling with Rick Sanchez. Jason Collins there on the outside in the Quincy machine. The swap up at the front continues. Not so much a battle. That's more of a frenemy situation, wouldn't you say, Ryan?
Yeah, it's kind of better dealing with the foe I know than the guy in third.
Very true. Stephen Lee, he is one of the guys that did stop under that yellow light. That crew has 14 laps on their tires. Santos did stop, but he did not take tires. Stephen Lee is the first one with freshies. He is up to 10th. Edson has made his way back to 6th. These guys all started deep in the field. These drivers were as far back as 20th. Craig Forsyth, on the flip side of that, he started to charge, but he's decided he's going to turn it down and just kind of ride here. Same for Matty Wagner, same for Shane Coker, same for Kyle Clinworth. Those guys are all going for the mega save. I think they may have figured out that if they save, they might be able to cut out a stop here.
Yep, and in super speedway racing, if there's no cautions and you can completely eliminate a pit stop, it's almost an automatic win.
Yeah, that's a lap on the field automatically there. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if you have to go a little bit slower. They're never gonna make up 2 miles on you, or it's gonna be very difficult. So that's the group that's back here saving gas. Meanwhile, Julian Altina has decided to take the fight to Edson Santos. Now he's going by Alex Miller, and he's got the VOR crew, the VOR machine of Gary Lovren right behind him. They're working the bottom side here, trying to get to the front. Julian goes by Peterson, and he's made it up to fourth. Working that high line, isn't he?
Yeah, because like you mentioned earlier, you could run the high line to save your tires, but it also keeps your momentum up in the corners, where if you exit turns 2 and 4 at way higher speeds than if you were to run the traditional outside, inside, outside line.
Absolutely. And let's have a look. I want to take a look at Julian's telemetry here, and let's kind of ride on board with him just to kind of show our viewers at home what he's seeing. He's trying to shoot that sliver of air right in the middle between Stearns and Mitchum. He's having to get all the way out of the power though, down to 210 miles an hour in turns 3 and 4. He's going to get a big draft. He's got Durazo immediately to his inside there, so Daniel Durazo going to go back to third. But watch this run Julian builds up on the high side down to up to 6th gear, and I wonder if that might be almost wonder if he might be testing how to get to the front, but not necessarily trying to get there, Ryan.
Yeah, sort of sparring, so to speak, feeling your way, because it's obviously not zero consequences for trying these moves now, but you rather know what works now to be 100% certain for the end.
Absolutely. This is a fixed setup league, so all of these cars are on the exact same IR18. And the only thing they can change are the tools in the car. That's the anti-roll bar adjustments you see in the red boxes at the bottom of the steering wheel. They can mess with the weight jacker. That's the middle box. We'll go ahead and kind of run through that. All of those adjustments, as well as the fuel position, which is the 4th box in yellow, as well as the miles per gallon in orange. Those are all not shown to broadcasters, and the reason is that I would be willing to bet that a fair number of the 28 people who are currently watching are the drivers themselves, and so iRacing blanks that information out so you can't see what your competitors are doing. The position, of course, is the 4th, is position number 4, and that is lit. It does tell you the distance to the car in front, the distance to the car behind. It's not going to tell us how much fuel is in the car or how many laps he has left, obviously, and then your last lap time is displayed there also. So that's kind of what Julian is looking at. That's his base of information. Meanwhile, Lith Fox has gone all the way up to 10th, right behind Stephen Lee, and we've got a yellow light on the course.
Yeah, I think someone lost it on the pit exit.
I believe that might be Montgomery Spencer. So here's Spencer, Montgomery coming out of the pit lane. You see it. You see the telemetry there, 160 miles an hour. Really, about 150 is the limit in the McLaren liveried machine, and he's flirting with it. And there it is. Right side wheels get up on the banking, and around she goes. A tough break for Montgomery Spencer. Already 4 laps down. Back over the cone, Montgomery Spencer, but we are under the yellow light, and it is now 29 laps of 125. I'd be willing to bet that we're going to see everybody come into pit lane. This is going to really kind of put everybody back on the same. I don't think you're going to see anybody that's been out for 22 laps attempt to come back or attempt to stay out. They'd be roughly halfway through their fuel run here.
Yeah, it's a good spot to really zero out and sort of not obvious. You could probably take out one stop from this, but you're going to have to save a bit on fuel.
Yeah, we're going to go back to green here with, roughly speaking, 91, 92 laps to go here in the California 250, the Horizon IndyCar Series. You're going to see some guys try to save. You want to make that last stint as short as possible, but if you can get 40 laps out of a tank, and if it's a full tank, which judging by the pit times it is, I don't know. Well, you might see some guys do gas and go at the end. Mason Mitchum wins the race off of pit road. Will Stern second, Durazo third, Altena and Lovren fourth and fifth. You think maybe that's what you could set up for here, a gas and go? Maybe just do, 6 gallons at the end, call it a day, 7 gallons, something like that, Ryan?
Yeah, sort of the moment where you can fit the extra 6 into your tank. You just dive in the pit lane.
Absolutely. Watching Will Stearns, Mason Mitchum work their way off a pit road. One thing we did not talk about, and something that is huge here at the California Speedway, is the weather. And it is pretty much a picture-perfect day. 72 degrees, ambient 112 on the track. That's a little on the warmer side. It is bright sunshine. That is a little on the warmer side, Ryan, but it's not enough to massively affect these cars, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, the track isn't going to get too slick because of it. We've seen it on track where they're still able to run behind cars in corners. It's manageable.
Yeah, it's not like the Race Spot US 500 Part 2, or even some of the official open races we've seen here, where the track gets up to 125, 130 F, and it's very difficult when it gets like that. There's almost no grip. The other thing is that those seams that you see, and this is a great shot of it, those seams you see, those black tar strips, those have different grip levels than the concrete or the asphalt that surrounds it, and those seams actually get hotter than the rest of the surface. And so you catch one of those things wrong late in a run, and you can go for an absolute ride, especially this part of the track right here we're seeing, which is the exit of turn number 2.
Yeah, like generally when I run here, I never sit on those seams. It's either I'm on the tarmac in between them, or I'm cutting across them. You don't want to ride on the seams.
No, you don't. And the seams also, if you for the veterans of the car and of the series, I like to use those seams as lanes.
Yeah.
And you'll see a lot of guys do that. So, if you look at the track now, there's 5 distinct lanes, and you can fit a car in every single one of those. The lights are out on the pace car, and we're about ready to get going one more time here at the California Speedway. You are watching the Horizon IndyCar Series, California, 250 miles here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. Mason Mitchum is going to lead him down. Will Stern second. Daniel Durazo is third. Julian Altena fourth. Gary Lovren is fifth. Good jump for Mason Mitchum.
Yeah, the only issue with good jumps here, there's a lot of room for the guy in second to draft up to you.
You've never seen anybody do that here, have you? Whoa, Will Stearns, what a save. Fields safely through turn 2 for the most part. They're going to fan out 3 wide. That's Altena on the bottom, Stearns in the middle, Durazo on the top. Julian is going to get to second, and he is immediately going to swing it wide. Julian Altena is going to go for the lead here at Fontana. Mason Mitchum, I think, wisely understood the assignment there and decided he's gonna give way. And based on the number of laps left and the amount of fuel, I don't know if I would want to lead here.
Like, generally, I like to lead the first couple laps just to ensure that I'm in the leading pack and force a split in the pack if I can.
Yeah, I mean, my general thought, or my feeling here is kind of, you see the yellow and the highlighter yellow and red Menards looking Dark Horse sponsored machine. That's Eric Peterson. He's currently 5th. That's about where I'd want to be. Saving
for me, that's the danger zone. That's generally, if the field splits in 2, it's going to be around there.
Everybody seems to be minding their P's and Q's. Amy Coker, good to see you. Good to have Shane in the race this evening. Welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Network. And yeah, Leonardo, they're going, man. We definitely appreciate everybody's support and being engaged in the chat. All these beautiful Indy cars. Stephen Lee up the middle. Stephen Lee is.
Oh no!
Stephen Lee is around. Caution is on the speedway.
Oh!
Hard lick for Stephen Lee, and we have other cars involved. That is going to be the 38 of Brian Greenlee. Poor Brian Greenlee had nowhere to go there.
Yeah, Stephen Lee just spun up the track and right into his path.
We're gonna have another look at this. There's the J.R. Hildebrand liveried Samsung Ed Carpenter racing machine of Stephen Lee. He's got the 47 of Lith Fox behind him. Now, Stephen is known as a pretty aggressive guy in the IndyCar community, and he sees the gap. He's going to throw it to the middle, and just a bit of a net code contact touch between him and Edson. Around goes Stephen, and he's right in front of the pack. There's nothing these guys can do. We see cars streaming past him on either side, and poor Brian Greenlee just has nowhere to go. We're actually going to go on board Brian Greenlee, and I'm going to send this full speed because I want everybody to see exactly what this looks like. This is what Brian Greenlee is watching out of his windshield when Stephen Lee and Edson Santos have that netcode touch. Watch this, Ryan. Down the front straight, start-finish line, and mayhem is about to happen. And Greenlee probably thinks he's in a pretty safe spot, but there goes Stephen Lee, and that's not much anything anybody can do.
Yeah, not much you could do. I always try to adhere to the adage of go to where the crashing car is, because they're probably not going to be there by the time you get there.
Unfortunately for Brian Greenlee, he did that, and the crashing car was still there. Broken right front, broken nose on that number 38 machine. I would suspect he's going to take. They do have fast repairs here. Our good friend Nick Wheeler, as well as Shane Coker, have used their fast repair. So we'll see that car snap back into place here and get back out on the track. The virtual mechanics have him down and away, but that's going to be the freebie for Brian Greenlee. He'll go to the back, and he did not lose a lap, so he'll go to the back and get back out there. Stephen Lee is under tow, and his machine is shattered. That one's hurting pretty good. Steven is under tow. He is 2 laps down. He will have the opportunity to effect the fast repair and get back out on the speedway. Under caution, lap 37 of 125. Daniel Durazo is your leader. Julian Altena is second. Gary Lovren third. Eric Peterson fourth. Will Stearns is fifth. And we did have cars that pitted. And I tell you what, Ryan, I don't think that we need to bet a shiny new dime as to who the first car on pit lane was.
Well, tell him, who was it?
That would be the number 99. That is Craig Forsyth, who I'm sure has done his sums and thinks he can make it to the end with one last stop without having to do that gas and go at the end. What do you say?
I think you're right about that. I think if the cautions fall the right way the rest of the way through, he'll make it without it having to do the splash and dash.
Yeah, that's very true. And Craig, wonderful supporter of the channel. He has probably one of the best streams that you're going to find in the IndyCar community. That's at Forsyth Gaming over on YouTube if you want to check that out later. But Craig Forsyth, 18th, Yari Brubaker, Matt Wagner, Alex Muller, Greg Robinson, Rich Sanchez, and Brian Greenlee all stopped. Under that yellow, Mason Mitchum, our early leader, has disconnected and punched out of the field. 1 lap down, Montgomery Spencer. Stephen Lee, or 2 laps down is Montgomery Spencer. Stephen Lee is still under tow and under repair in the pit lane. He is 27th. Josh Cruz, 7 laps in arrears. He is 28th. Back to the front of the field, we're watching Julian Altena following Daniel Durazo, and Altena has an advantage here, Ryan. He's got a teammate right behind him.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a rear gunner.
Absolutely. I got to play that role Sunday in the Indy Elite race with Gesper until I managed to hurt my car, but that's neither here nor there. A little bit of net code and some bad luck. Here's the green flag. Daniel Durazo is going to lead Julian Altena and Gary Lovren away. Eric Peterson is fourth, and we know the man in that 36 is rapid, as is your Chicago winner from last season, Will Stearns. He's lying fifth in the 306. And I keep waiting for the names that we're familiar with. The Clinworths, the Forsyths, Matt Wagner, some of the veterans. I keep waiting for them to begin to make their way up toward the front of this thing, Ryan. But they seem to be content to ride in the back and save some fuel here.
Yeah. At a place like this, patience is a large part of being successful.
It most certainly is. Brian Greenlee has now punched out of the 38 machine, so he is out of the race. Josh Cruz remains on pit road, but he has been in his box for over 8 minutes, 9 laps down now. The battle at the front is fast, and it is absolutely furious. That's Durazo leading from Gary Lovren, who's looking to the inside. Altena is third, and then they are 2 by 2 behind him. Santos and Peterson, followed by Fox and Stearns. Lith Fox is going to get to the inside of Julian Altena, so move Fox to fourth, put Julian to fifth momentarily. We got some net code going on with a wall up there. And this is kind of what the racing looks like here on new tires. This is also very similar to what it's going to look like at the end. So about 83 laps from now, that's when these guys are going to let the rough side hang, and you're going to see cars spread out across the track 3 and 4 wide. I think we saw a 5 wide here once, didn't we, Ryan?
Yeah, well, like you could see 5 wide in the corners. Simply, people feel it. They have the grip, and they dive all the way down to the white line. And there's so many. There's so much to manage mentally when you're in a pack like that, because it's normally about 2 wide down the straights, and it fans out to 5 wide through the corners. And you kind of have to mentally judge where people are going to merge back at corner exit.
Now, here's where the Hornet's Nest is. This is back around Hugo Gallas. He is 11th. Frank Wynn is 12th. Jason Collins, 13th. They are 3 wide. They've got Miller and Surwiak, and we got a car spinning the inside. That's Frank Wynn. Hard impact for Frank Wynn. That is a massive lick, and we have the yellow light on the speedway for Frank Wynn, and he has already punched out of his machine. But that was a massive hit for Frank Wynn. There we see it. There's 3 wide. Gallows up top, Collins in the middle, and it appeared as though there was just some light net code contact, maybe some side to side. Hard to kind of tell from that angle.
Yeah, looking at the onboard, they definitely did make contact, and it was just enough to jar the car loose.
Yep, we'll get on board with Frank Wynn here, and we'll kind of watch. That's the 24 in front of Andrew Surwiak. And they're 3 wide, 2 rows deep here. 49 of Alex Miller. He's on the row in front. And then just to the right, there's side-to-side contact. Side pod of Jason Collins to Frank Wynn, and he hit those tires an absolute ton. I cannot blame Frank if he doesn't want any more tonight. That is a massive lick. Meanwhile, everybody else gets a chance for another breather. Looking at Gary Lovren. Gary, in the Velocity Online Racing Machine, he is your leader. And that's something we don't get to say very often about Gary Lovren. Wonderful man. Yeah. Long time campaigner for the VOR team, and he's getting a chance to have his name in the limelight. So good for Gary. 80 laps to go in this one. Looking to see, there were some takers on pit road. Lith Fox in 7th is going to be the leader of those those particular cars. So Fox, Durazo, Santos, Stearns, Peterson, Clinworth, Sorwiak, Galez, Collins, Ward, Forsyth, Wagner, Coker, Brubaker, Muller, and Greg Robinson are the lead lap machines that did come down. They took fuel, they took tires, and so they are at 0 laps with 80 to go. So they are at a simple one stop. You're looking at Rick Sanchez having 8 laps on his current run, and then Lovren, Altena, Miller, Glover, and Nick Wheeler in 5th. Those cars have been out for 15 laps. They have had significant caution in those 15 laps, but we would surmise that those cars are going to have to stop one more time, Ryan.
Yeah, without a doubt. We're just too far out for you to make it.
Now, the guys that just stopped, they're going to have a shot, but they're going to have to go 2 stints of 40. If it is a full tank, Ryan, can you confirm that we are on 100% fuel here? But if it is a full tank... Go ahead.
I can't quite confirm that because I don't have access to the setup they're running.
So if it is a full tank of fuel, and we have no reason to believe it's not, but if it is a full tank of fuel in these cars, 36 to 37 laps is about max if you run it full goose. Turn it up to fuel 1, full chat, don't lift. If you want to sit in the draft, if you want to be this man right here, who is one of the community masters at fuel saving, that is the 40 Racewear car of Craig Forsyth, if you want to sit back in that draft and run it gingerly and use the car in front of you to pull along as he runs right behind Josh Ward, the defending Wednesday night votive champion, you can probably make 42, 43, 44 laps if you're cautious. We've seen guys run as many as 47 to 48 laps in an open setup. The fixed races tend to have a little bit more downforce, and so that might not be possible here. But you could see a guy make on a full tank 43 or 44 laps.
Yeah, and it's simply just a matter of knowing what to do and how to save fuel. Like, I'm definitely in the clutch and coast crowd of fuel saving.
See, I'm a little bit different. I don't like to map all the way, and we'll kind of get into that here as the pace car gets ready to duck on off. Gary Lovren's going to lead Julian Altena, Alex Miller, Baron Glover, and Nick Wheeler away here as we get ready to come back to green. 46 of 125 complete, about to be 47. Green flag is out. Gary Lovren gets on the loud pedal, and away he goes from Julian Altena, who needs to quit texting and driving, by the way. He's posting in the YouTube chat while in the race car. I don't know how people do that. Meanwhile, there is a mess back here. There's an absolute mess around Durazo, Sanchez, Santos, Peterson. Those guys were 3 wide at the start of this thing. Looked like the start of Indianapolis back there, Ryan. Go ahead.
It really did, and it looked like their struggles is gonna allow the top 5 a chance of breaking away.
Yeah, and here's what Ryan's talking about. You see that huge gap from Baron Glover all the way back to Lith Fox, 1.6 seconds. 1.6 seconds is the draft envelope here. And so if you can expand that gap out, and it's closing now, so Lith Fox has retained the draft. Yellow is out.
We got another caution.
Jari Brubaker sliding through the infield. So let's see what has happened to Jari. I'd be willing to bet you a quarter that he is not the cause of this. And that's just
an incident he drove into.
That appears to be, is that Shane Coker? That is Shane
Jari.
Holy smokes. Jari, did you see that right? He went under the 12 of Shane Coker, who had contact with that appears to be the McLaren F1 livery car of Montgomery Spencer. Watch this, fans. This is incredible.
I didn't know we were producing the Driven remake.
Hard into the wall. And there goes Jari under Shane Coker to make it past. What an incredible move by Jari Brubaker. He does slide through the grass, goes over the Auto Club emblem, but I don't think Jari hit anything, did he?
No, just a rough ride through the grass.
Well, the yard is now mowed, and Jari can come in and get himself some new tires. That is going to be well. Montgomery Spencer has not used his fast repair, so he does have the opportunity to do that. Shane Coker is on pit lane, and he has used the fast repair. And with an entire corner of that car missing, I don't believe we're going to see Shaner back in this race. A tough break for the driver of the number 12, Shane Coker. Let's get back up here with the front of the field, because we have live pit stop action. Several cars coming down. They're going to be led by Will Stern. Well, they're going to be led, by Nick Wheeler is the car that we're focused on. My apologies. I couldn't read there for a minute. Amy, we're right there with you. Not ideal, but Shane's a tough character. He'll be back next week. Watching Nick Wheeler lead him off a pit lane. So Lith Fox also stopped under that yellow. There's Lith. And so Lith Fox is going to be the first car with fuel and tires. You've got a whole crew led by Daniel Durazo in fourth, all the way back to 14th, Alex Muller. They are out on 6 laps on their current run. Altina Lovern and Baron Glover, that's these 3 cars right up front. They have not stopped in 21 laps, and so they are halfway through their current run. We would anticipate seeing Julian and Gary come in here, wouldn't you think, 20 laps? So about lap 71. And that's rough. I went to Ball State. I'm not the math whiz of the group, but that math don't math to me, at least.
It does not.
That math don't math, at least to me. The guys that have been out for 7, and we've had a couple of those under caution, they would be comfortable to make it on one more stop. They're going to have to save a little bit. Everybody from 15th on back that just took fuel and tires, that crew is good to turn it up and go full juice for the rest of the way. Altina, Lovern, and Glover, they're going to need a little bit of luck.
I think they're good enough to make their own luck.
They are indeed, but to a point. I mean, you have to kind of. One of the things that makes guys like Craig Forsyth, for example, so good in these cars is they're masters at reading the race. With 73 laps to go, I would find it a difficult decision to stay out, knowing I might still have to make 2 stops if it went green. I would have thought it would have been, Ryan, kind of a no-brainer to stop there.
I think at this point of the race, especially since we're not even halfway yet, I'd roll the dice and stay out and bank on there being another caution.
And that could be, and we're definitely going to see who's got the winning strategy. Julian Altina is going to lead teammate Gary Lovern. The Vor cars 1 and 2, Baron Glover 3rd, Daniel Durazo 4th. Edson Santos is your top 5. We'll get the telemetry up for Julian Altina, and we'll ride on Gary Lovern as Altina streaks away on the restart. We are working lap 52 of 125. 53 of 125. There it changed. Away we go. Gary Lovern chasing down teammate Julian Altina. Now, these two will be affecting the swap together. It is a fairly safe bet that Julian and Gary are in communication in the Altina Autosport Discord. And so I would imagine that they are intently working together to ensure that Baron Glover does not go by them. The last thing they want to do right here is start falling deeper into the pack with knowing they're going to have to make that extra stop. They want to be out front and in the lead.
Yeah, just go as flat out as you can. Try to stretch the field out.
Yeah, that's about all you can do here. Julian really high through turns 3 and 4, and that's going to, one, it's going to let Lovren get away, but it's also going to give Baron Glover a chance to get to his inside, but Julian shuts the door. If you're Baron Glover here, what are your thoughts on playing this? Do you just try to stay safely ensconced in third? Do you try to get up here and lead this baby? What are your thoughts on that, Ryan?
I'd probably use this to your advantage. Stay in third, save fuel. You don't need to lead yet. You only really have to lead one lap.
That's very true. I do apologize to the fans out there. It is very cold, and we've had a lot of snow in northern Indiana today, and I think it's playing havoc with some of our internet connections. That's the first time it's really hiccuped during this particular event. It was very spotty in practice, went through and turned everything off. But I think the fiber lines outside the house are a little chilly right now, Ryan.
Yeah, they in the cold.
Yeah, electronics don't seem to like that very well. But what we do like to see is a battle going on for third spot now. Look who has decided to join this party here at the front of the line. That's Kyle Clinworth, our good friend, my Monday night partner. He has pulled up to, he was third momentarily, but he has got that bottom going. And Clindy working to try to get to the front of this thing. Although, again, if you're Clindy, aren't you better off saving fuel and letting those guys run out of gas?
At this point, yes, but I think you always want to measure how well you could race the other cars just to be more confident about your finish.
Absolutely. Andrew Surowac is another car we have not talked about all that much today. Andrew has worked his way up to third. He's going around Baron Glover, and now Clindy has swung it to the high side. He's going to try to take fourth away from Glover. Durazo is going to try to follow that crew through there as well. Baron Glover may very well lose 3 spots in one lap. Now Durazo swings it to the high side. He's not only going to go around Baron Glover, he's looking at Julian Altena now, and I think Julian and Gary have kind of realized they need to let somebody else lead this thing.
Yeah, like when someone gets that strong of a run on you, it's just best to let them through. Don't try anything funny. You want to make it to the end of this thing.
You most certainly do. Clindy is now swapping with Andrew Surowac. So Andrew is up there, and Clindy is very good in these races. We have not seen him have success in the longer distance races, but if it turns into a sprint, he's going to be awfully tough at the front of this baby.
Oh, without a doubt.
Just to thank everybody as we approach halfway, everybody watching the P1 Broadcasting Network this evening, it is dueling streams. We have Gary Godso and Stephen Larkamp. They are doing the Formula Indy Series. That is on P1 as well. They are 30 minutes ahead of us. I would anticipate that they will be done about the same time. Those are full Grand Prix length races, contested entirely on road courses to Formula One rules, but with Indy cars. It's actually kind of a very cool thing. But they're in Bathurst at the moment, so Gary and Stephen calling that one. We are here in sunny Southern California for the inaugural race of the Horizon IndyCar League. We do have quite a few people watching us, and we would like to absolutely thank you for tuning into the P1 Broadcasting Network tonight. If you have not already done it, make sure to hit that like button on the video, smash the subscribe to the channel. It does help us out immeasurably when you do that. And if you want a chance to win a watch, you can hit the GoFundMe link in the bottom of the page, and Matt Wagner will put your name as a pizza slice on the spinny wheel pie. And when we get to the final race, we're going to do a drawing to see who is going to get one of Mark Cohn's watches. The Watchman graciously putting up a really nice prize. It is not the Kmart Timex worn by Dustin Hoffman in the famous movie Rain Man. Meanwhile, Baron Glover has gone to the lead. Josh Ward is second. Surwack third. Clindy fourth. Collins fifth. The Vor cars are dropping through the field. I would take a guess to say that they are approaching bingo on fuel. 33 laps, 34 now for Altena and Lovern.
Oh, and that's something you don't want to see. A green flag stop is the last resort at a place like this.
Yeah, because you're going to go down a lap, and I think Julian has realized that they're going to try to save as much as they can here, but there's really not a way that they can stretch this to make it so they only got to make one more stop.
Yeah, it's too late to do that. Like, when you fuel save at a super speedway, you pretty much have to do it from the lights go out and go green.
Yeah, you can't. If you're going to start stretching fuel, you got to plan for it. Just as somebody like a Forsyth or a Wagner would. Those guys, we haven't talked about them a whole heck of a lot, except to bet on how much Craig is fuel saving. He's decided it's time to go. He is 9th. Gary Lovern is 10th, and then right behind him in the Team Watson machine, that would be Matt Wagner. Those two have been riding along with Edson Santos near the middle to the rear of the field, saving fuel. They have a surplus of it now, and the time to go is now. At the front, Julian Altena and Baron Glover lead it. Clindy has gone to third, and at this point it appears as though, at least for the last couple of laps, he has refused to pass the two cars in front.
Oh, Lovern and Altena, they called it on the radio. They are coming in.
Here comes Julian. Get down to the pit road speed limit. He was awfully hot getting in there. Did he speed, Ryan?
Oh, I couldn't get it on my radar.
He was awfully hot. The pit road speed limit here is 60 miles an hour, and if he wasn't over that, he was awfully close. See the cars go up on the jacks, and we're going to follow Julian and Gary because we want to kind of see where they come out. Gary Lovern is away. Julian Altena is away. Here they come. The field, though, is about ready to streak by. And they may struggle to hang on to even just the back of the draft here. There's Julian off of his roll hoop watching the field go away. Julian Altena is not going to hold the draft. He and Gary are going to have to work together. Although there's Mason Mitchum and some other cars that they may be able to draft with. That's going to be an awfully tough task. The other thing is he's going to have to save fuel for the remainder of this race and probably still have to make another stop.
Yeah, that's going to be the hard part. Where, at this point, it's no longer a gamble on there being a caution. There has to be another caution.
Absolutely. We're seeing Baron Glover pull his car to the inside. Baron has been out there 39 laps, and I would guess we're going to see him at any time. My goodness, that car understeered, but here he comes onto the pit lane. So Baron Glover, he's going to stop at lap 70 of 125. It'll be 70 by the time he hits his pit box. 55 to go. So he's in that same boat as Julian and Gary Lovern. And we'll have to follow that story, see where those guys cycle out. Let's kind of take a look at Julian and Gary. Are they able to put anything together? Are they able to swap? It appears as though they're too far apart, and they might just be content to let Mitchum and Wheeler do the work here.
Yeah, just conserve fuel off the stragglers. Like, stay out as long as you can. That's the goal of this stint. Just stay out. Don't forfeit another lap unless you absolutely have to.
Absolutely. Now Mason Mitchum, and we'll get on board with him. That's a fast cat in the Renault liveried votive machine. That's a fast cat. He has caught the draft, and he's going to pull those cars right along with him. They are just inside of the envelope. Nick Wheeler is about 1.6 seconds back. Mitchum a couple of tenths in front of him. So they're going to be at the back of this lead group here momentarily, would be my thought, Ryan.
Yeah, that'd be the hope. It would be a godsend to Julian and Gary.
It would indeed. Meanwhile, back at the front of this freight train, you've got Craig Forsyth. He has now moved it to 7th. Durazo is 6th. So those are two veterans. Edson Santos has begun to move his way to the front of the field. The battle for the lead is between Josh Ward, the defending votive champion, Kyle Clinworth in 2nd, Andrew Surowack in 3rd. Jason Collins runs 4th. And then 5th, give a shout out to the old man, Will Stearns. You're never too old to be fast, and Will Stearns is very good at these tracks. He's very good in longer races. It was one of the more popular votive wins to see Will Stearns go to victory lane at Chicagoland, and he's up there with a shot at it tonight, running in front of Craig Forsyth, looking at Jason Collins for 4th. That's Will Stearns in the 306. Matt Wagner looking racy. He's going to throw it at the inside of Durazo and Forsyth. And Collins. He has to get on the binders. Matty Wags.
Dear. And the stragglers have caught the lead group.
The stragglers have caught. Now, I want to kind of point out something to our viewers that Wagner's having success with. We're going to jump on board with him. He's one of the few people that has made passes running up the inside. And the reason that's been successful is most everybody but the leaders are wanting to run high. You see Durazo do the same thing. Just throw it down low, because if the leaders are not running on the very bottom, you have virtually unlimited clean air until you get to the middle of the corner. And then if you've got your car set right, you can escape without losing a lot of momentum down there. That's not going to be there later, I promise you. But for right now, you can make up a ton of time by doing that, watching Matt Wagner go wheel to wheel with Lith Fox.
Yeah, and under the right circumstances, in clean air, you could run the wall foot to the floor completely around. But if there are too many cars in the top lane, that's gone. You have to lift. You actually have to slow down to make the corner, and it defeats the purpose of running up there.
It most certainly does, and it also gets very difficult to run the bottom here as the tires wear if you're in the pack, just simply because if you're running the bottom on old tires here, you have a lot of understeer just naturally going into these corners. This track does not have huge banking. It's 4 degrees less than Michigan even, so it's a little bit flatter. It tends to chew the tires up. This track has also never been, it never was repaved. And so the original pavement that was laid down by Roger Penske in the late 90s is what they tore up. And the track, by the time it was scanned by iRacing, it was and at the end of its life, it was pretty rough.
Yeah, and it made the racing there interesting because there was a lot of grip, but it also meant it wore through your tires.
Absolutely. I'm going to kind of go on board with Matt Wagner. And if our viewers at home watch this, you can see even in the cockpit the suspension traveling up and down, up and down, up and down. Wagner netcodes into the wall, but you can see it visibly moving the car around. If you place your car wrong here, looking out the back toward Jason Collins, if you place it wrong here and hit one of those bumps wrong, it can almost wrench the wheel out of your hands.
Yeah, there are a couple of places on this track where the bump will spin you around. So, like, the bottom of the exit on turn 4 is kind of like the signature one, where if you hit it at full throttle and your wheel isn't pointed straight, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, it's right there about at the entrance to pit road too, which makes it it makes it interesting. If you're a little bit too hot trying to get on pit road and you hit that bump wrong, you either spin into the inside wall into the pits, or you spin across the grass and out back up across the track. Very difficult. Wagner, in a power move, went from about 7th to 3rd in 2 corners. Watching Kyle Clinworth, he's chasing Matty Wags. Meanwhile, out front, Josh Ward and Will Stearns, and there they are. They're just kind of doing that swap thing, trying to control the field. They're not going to be able to get away, but that's how you kind of do control the field. Do want to give a shout out to Shane Coker. Thank you, Shane, for joining us in chat. Tough break, put Shane out of the race, but he'll be back next week for sure. Kind of saying he just got tight and he was hoping the car beside him would lift, and that didn't happen. So tough break for Shaner, but he'll be back next week. The battle is at the front, though, Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, Will Stearns is around. He's going around.
No!
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Oh! And poor Will just got his wheels on the apron. We were watching him live. He just got his wheels on the apron and couldn't save it. Look at that car. We were talking about the bumps slamming up and down the backstretch. But just classic case of apron bad, Ryan.
Yeah, besides the loss of grip, you really just jack up the floor from the surface, you just lose all grip, and you're a passenger.
Poor Lith Fox, nowhere to go for Stephen Lee either. That is his second hard lick of the evening, and that's going to be day done for Stephen Lee. Unfortunately, he'd already taken the fast repair. Lith Fox does have the fast repair available, although Lith is under tow into the pit lane, so repairs will be affected. But it's going to be a long road back for the driver of the 47, who had such a wonderful run this evening. We're going to go back to the front of the field, and the reason we're going to do that is we're going to get some pit stops. Everybody is going to come on pit lane except for those VOR cars who want to get their lap back. And there go the VOR cars plus Baron Glover. They're going to stay out. Durazo slides through their pit box a little bit. Watching the exit of pit lane, it's going to be Ward, Clinworth, Wagner. They're going to get out. Andrew Surowak is going to be fourth, and Jason Collins going to round out the top five as we race off of pit road. You know who wound up not in too bad a shape out of all that?
It was the biggest gainer.
Well, the VOR cars obviously are huge gainers. But just kind of watching the way that everything played out, Will Stearns, he was able to maintain his position on the lead lap. He came in, he got his fast repair. Will Stearns is back out there. He's 13th. He's still in this with a chip and a chair, Ryan Eric King.
Oh, I mean, you love to see that. That's what the quick repair is for. Your day's not over. You can just get back at it.
Well, and good for Will too. He's such a nice man, and one of the true colorful characters of the community. Kind of a Dick Simon type. I know there are a few of those, but always jovial to be around, always fun to be around. His cars are immaculately presented. He's a fun guy, and it's always good to see him run well, and we do wish Will Stearns the best. Working caution here, lap 84 of 125. Josh Ward, the defending votive champion, is your leader. Kyle Clinworth, the Clindy, is second. Matt Wagner is third. Andrew Surowak is fourth. And rounding out your top five, Jason Collins. Jason Collins in the 96 is fifth. Daniel Durazo, the Cat, is sixth. Hugo Gala is seventh. Eric Peterson is eighth. Rick Sanchez is ninth. Rounding out your top 10, Yari Brubaker. Greg Robinson. We saw him a lot in the Kyle Larson livery last year. New colors on the 83. He is 11th. Nick Wheeler, after using his fast repair, Wheels is 12th. Right behind Wheeler in the standings, Will Stearns. There's Will. After his spin, Julian Altena, back on the lead lap in the Velocity Online racing machine. 15th, Alex Miller. 16th, Gary Lovern. There's Baron Glover in 17th. Craig Forsyth has gone a lap down in 18th. Mason Mitchum also a lap down in 19th. Lith Fox, Edson Santos, Alex Muller, and Frank Wynn round out your runners. That's 20th through 23rd. And we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here, Ryan.
Green, green, green.
So these pit stops occurred with 42 laps to go. Of course, it was under yellow. We are now at the point where I am going to flip it from laps complete to laps to go. We're going to get 40 to go this time by. What are you thinking in terms of fuel here, Ryan?
Oh, I think you should be good to make it as long as you're not flat out 100% the entire way through. If you race, I don't want to say normally, but if you lift a bit going into 1 and 3, you should have enough fuel saved that if you need to go flat out the last, say, 5 or so laps, you can.
Yeah, and that's going to be the thing, and that's kind of what I try to do. You want to save it. You want to save it at the beginning of the run so that you have the fuel available to go full gas when it counts. There's no prize money, at least that I'm aware of, paid for leading lap 86. They pay that at the end, and so everything at this point is about getting to a point where you can go full juice the longest. It may very well be that the winner of this race is the guy that is able to turn that fuel knob to the magic number 1 first.
Yes.
Now you don't want to be where Clindy is here. He's dropped half a second behind. You've got to save fuel, but you can be too conservative and lose that draft too.
Yeah, because if you want a ticket to win, you need to be on the lead lap. You need to be on the lead lap with no pit stops to go, and you need to be in the leading pack with 1 lap to go.
Now, here's another question for you, and this is something that we don't often talk or think about when it comes to these races. Gary and that group, they like to pick the winner. They like to give predictions for who's going to win the race at this point. I always like to make predictions about strategy instead. And Ryan, we've got 37 to go. We're going to get 36 this time. We think that they're probably pretty good on gas. What's the over-under lap for you coming to get tires, or is this an automatic stay out or an automatic come in?
Ooh, I think there is a sweet spot for tires. Usually, to me, tires are worth it if you're in that window of, say, less than 20 to go, but more than 10. You need distance to actually use that advantage.
Yeah, you kind of do. I mean, to me, it's going to depend on where I am. If I'm Ward or Wagner and I don't need fuel, I'm probably not going to stop. Because if you're leading this thing, you're absolutely going. You're not going to hurt the tires near as much as somebody riding the pack. If I'm Clinworth on back and I've been riding in dirty air, I'm coming to hit pit road unless there's less than 10 to go. Less than 10 to go, I'm probably not going to come. But we'll see. There's a pretty decent chance that you're going to see a late yellow here. And you've got to be thinking about when am I going to come to pit, if I'm going to come to pit lane, if depending on when the yellow flies. Now, I'll say this too, if you're Gary Lovren, Julian Altina, Julian was able to stop under that last yellow, but Gary Lovren was not. He's been out 25 laps on his current run. He's going to have to stop one more time. Same for Baron Glover.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate. Their day pretty much hinges on there being another caution.
Yeah, and that could have been a product of Julian maybe getting a lucky dog or a wave around, whereas the other guys did not. Watching Matt Wagner and Josh Ward duel for the lead, we're going to kind of try to keep it near the front. Julian Altina just did go by Jason Collins, and he's working on Daniel Durazo there. That's for 5th position now. Altina's going to go to the inside of Durazo. And Julian is not wasting any time. He is trying to get back to the front of this thing immediately. You think that's a product of Julian just wanting to get up there and then he's going to turn it down? We almost had contact in the back there. Yeah,
I think that's the case for Julian, where you always want to be in that catbird seat within arm's length. Not in the lead, but there in case you need to take it.
I don't think he's listening to us. Julian Altena just flashed to the inside of Matt Wagner. I think he's wanting to come, wanting to come to the front of this thing. He looks like he might go up the middle. Now he goes to the inside. The double swap. Julian Altena powers to the front. 31 to go here at California, and so Altena back to the lead. Wagner second. Ward third. Clindy is fourth. Surwack is fifth. Durazo sixth. Collins seventh. Peterson eighth. Gallas ninth. Nick Wheeler and Hugo Gallas just swap spots, but they are going to round out your top 10. Baron Glover has made it back to 12th, but of course he and Gary Lovern, they're going to have to pit one more time. They're going to need a yellow here within the next 10 laps or so. So while we've got kind of a lull here, Ryan, you're the Jalopnik.com reporter. You're the man with all the news. What's the you seen the new IndyCar commercial that's out there, my man?
Yes, I've seen the new IndyCar commercial, and it is tremendous. Admittedly, it does feel weird seeing people excited over a commercial.
It does, and I have to say, I've given a lot of guff over the last several years to the brass at the Speedway, but that might be the best marketing we've seen out of anybody related to IndyCar, Kart, Champ Car, any of those series since the FedEx commercials with Juan Montoya. That thing was a thing of beauty. Not only that, see Tom Brady in an IndyCar commercial.
That was a fun cameo, but that's generally like Fox's attitudes towards stepping into new sports. They never take half measures. They always jump both feet into the deep end. Well,
and that's truthfully what you need. Truthfully, absolutely what you need. We would like to give a shout out to Dalton Zavaldi, who took the prelim, the Porsche Super Series from Bathurst. He took the win over Sam McDougall and Gavin Sanders. That's a long-time IndyCar name there, Gavin Sanders, in the prelim to the Formula Indy Series race, which I would imagine is still ongoing. Gary and our good friend Stephen Larkamp on the call from virtual Bathurst. Meanwhile, we're fixing to have a barn burner here at California Speedway, closing in on 50 miles to go. Julian Altena leads it. Matt Wagner second. Josh Ward third. I thought the funniest moment in that whole deal was that whole deal was they mentioned Joseph Newgarden's children's book, and they said children love him, and Alex Palou piped up and said, "I don't."
Yeah, mine didn't like the book.
Mine didn't like it. Everybody, kids love him. Mine don't. It's great to see the series being promoted, the car being promoted, and we've seen that. We've seen that a little bit just in terms of the numbers, both in iRacing itself. We're seeing more people drive the car and take a chance on the car. We're also seeing more people watching the P1 Broadcasting Network. Have a great showing tonight for this one, and so absolutely thank everybody that is out there watching. If you like the coverage and enjoy respect the stream, make sure to hit that like button, smash the subscribe. Those do wonders to help us out as we continue to navigate the YouTube algorithm. There is also a way for the fans to get in on this one. Matt Wagner, through his partnership with Mark Cohn, they are putting up a really nice wristwatch. And so anybody that donates to the stream via the GoFundMe link that is in the description, before the final Horizon race, you are going to be entered along with each one of these drivers to win one of the Watchman's watches. And they are not SpongeBob SquarePants kids watches. Mark Cohn is a noted collector of timepieces, and so it's usually something good. And so if you'd like to have a chance at that, make sure you throw a couple of bucks our way. Matty Wagner will put your name on a pizza slice on the spinny wheel, and you'll have a chance at the last race to win a really nice wristwatch. Watching Josh Ward, he's fighting Kyle Clinworth and Matt Wagner, and he's really hunting for some clean air, but there is none.
Yeah. Lovren's biting the bullet. He is called on the radio. He is coming in the pit lane.
And there you see it at the top of your screen. Gary Lovren will pull off. He is going to have to come get service. 23 to go. Baron Glover will not be far behind. Well, Baron Glover has already stopped. Everybody else in the field, we think, should be okay to the end. The only two cars that I might question whether they can make it, that's going to be the 10 of Julian Altina and the 6 of Matt Wagner. Along with the 92 of Josh Ward, those cars have been up at the front and leading for most of this run. And even if you've got it leaned down, Ryan, that doesn't mean that you automatically save fuel.
Yeah, you got no one to tow off of. It's not advised.
No, and the way that fuel works in iRacing isn't necessarily exactly the way that they do it in real life. Here, it's all based on throttle position. And so what you want to do to save fuel, and we'll kind of show it, let's jump on board with Kyle Clinworth, because he's pretty decent at it. We'll get his telemetry up here. What you want to do is you want to do what Clindy's doing. You want to get right about there and then run 3/4 throttle and then have that big lift going into turn one, and then just pull back up on the car in front.
Oh!
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Big crash. Eric Peterson up and over, multiple somersaults and flips down the back straightaway. Eric Peterson is going to be needing his fast repair for sure. Already towed it. We caught the tail end of it. And let's see what has happened with Eric Peterson as he goes up and over the 24 of Andrew Surowiak. My goodness gracious. So here they are, and I'm going to get on board with Eric, at least through the moment of contact. I'm going to have the TV tower handy because I think there might be some contact here between these two cars. There's the touch. There goes Andrew, and up and over. My goodness, Eric Peterson. You hope at this point that Eric was not in VR.
Yeah, because you're probably gonna need a brown paper bag.
My goodness, that's one of those. I take my hands off the wheel. I have a DD2 with a Formula wheel, so I do the real life thing where I take my hands off the wheel because you can hurt yourself if you don't. Everybody is going to come to pit lane, by the way. You can hurt yourself if you don't, but that's one of those where if you got VR, close your eyes. Peterson, Kawhi says Peterson forgot his takeoff clearance. He whether he was cleared or not, he took off for sure. Into the pit lane, We're watching Matty Wagner, Julian Altina, and Altina slides sideways to a stop, overshoots his box. That's going to cost him several positions, leaving the pits. We'll cover that as they exit. Wags, Ward, Clindy, Durazo, they get off. Julian went from second to fifth just with that one little sliding mistake, Ryan.
Yeah. Pit stops, especially in super speedways, are very important.
Well, and they're also very touchy, and so you do not use the brakes at a track like this. You absolutely do not use the brakes at a track like this. By the way, this is going to give guys like Baron Glover, Lith Fox, Will Stearns, it's going to give them all a chance to get their laps back. They were all a lap down, and so those cars are all going to get the wave around, as is the lucky dog of Ryan Eric King, the 99 of Craig Forsyth. So he is back in. He is back in the fight, back on the lead lap, and he's going to have enough fuel and a fresh set of tires to try to get it done here. Anticipate we go back to green with, 16 to go?
Yeah, it should be roughly 16 to go. It is effectively a sprint to the end.
It absolutely is. Give some love to Craig Forsyth. Forsyth Gaming on YouTube is his stream. And so, if you want to check out what Craig sees and also admire his really awesome cat that does make appearances from time to time, you can check him out once the broadcast here is over. I always like going back and watching his stuff when I've been in a race. I probably learned more watching his stream than I have anything else.
Yeah, you get first-hand insight into what he's doing out there.
Yeah, and there's guys, and this is kind of a unique situation in that, the guys that do stream, I've known competitors that will watch their competitors' Twitch feeds or YouTube feeds while they're out there. I can't do that. We have had guys, we have had noted teams in the IndyCar community that will have teammates that monitor streams during big races. So the iRacing 500, Open Wheels 500, Elite 500, those types of things. We've seen that for sure.
I mean, that's what happens in real life where the actual IndyCar teams, and I know they have dedicated people in F1, just listen into the other team's radio.
Yeah. I mean, and that goes on here. It's just a little bit different. It's an internet feed, but in life, they can't get in the car with them, which we can do here. Pace car is off.
Yeah.
Matt Wagner is gonna lead him down, series director, in front of the reigning Wednesday night votive champion Josh Ward. Kyle Clinworth third. We are back under green. 16 to go here at the California Speedway. Shane Coker says he's convinced that Craig and Scott Dixon are the same person. I'm sure that Craig will take that as a high compliment. And this is where it's going to start to get wild. We are now 3 wide. That's Wagner on the bottom, Clinworth in the middle, Drazo on the top. Altena's bidding to make it 4.
Yep. Everyone's on fresh tires. Everyone knows they can make it on fuel.
Absolutely, and it's time to go now. 30 miles, 15 laps to decide it here at California. And really, as we watch this fight between Clindy and Wagner, this is kind of how this is going to go. Somebody, and Clindy's got him cleared. Does he slam the door? He does. And he was clear, but this is going to come down to whoever can gain the white line first. Most likely, and then if they're able to hold it. Right now, Wagner and Clindy playing nice when it comes to the IRL line, but we're going to see that come into play here very shortly. Somebody's going to get to the bottom. Is it going to be Wagner? Is it going to be Drazo? Is it going to be Clindy, Altena, Collins? Somebody's going to get down there. They're going to get to the lead, and they are not going to move from it. Clindy down to the apron. He kind of got forced down there a little bit.
Yeah, he was forced. Oh, he's safely rejoining the lead.
Safely rejoins. I've got a bet Wagner gets him kind of stacked up on the bottom. Here comes Wardy, and here comes Altena to the outside of Durazo. Careful.
Oh, I see a touch back there.
Yeah, that was Forsyth and Gallas, it looked like. Meanwhile, you can't even call it unexpected. This is kind of how these races play out, and it's going to be like this for the remainder of the run. Clindy has now gotten to the inside of Wagner. Unlike Michigan, as Ward goes to the outside, unlike Michigan, the white line strategy here will work. At Michigan,
yes.
At Michigan, it doesn't. At Michigan, lane 2 is preferred. Here at California, it is very difficult to drive around the guy that wants to hold the white line.
And though, trust me, driving that white line here is not easy.
No, it's very nerve-wracking because the guy on the outside.
Car out! Car airborne!
Caution is out.
That's Hugo Gallas, Jason Collins involved. Let's see if we can't get a replay here. So It happened behind the pylon, but it looked like a net code touch there between Collins and Gallas.
Yeah, it was definitely netcode.
Up goes Hugo, and that's going to be more than likely the end of the line for both of those cars. I kind of want to take a look at Hugo. He's limping it back. Watch. That's the net code. But watch his onboard. He's going to go up. Forsyth went underneath Hugo. That's 2 cars now. Well, it's 3. So we had 2 cars go underneath the flying Shane Coker. Craig Forsyth, and let's watch him. He goes under a flying Hugo Gallas. Watch this, Ryan. Here comes Hugo. There's the hit. There's the launch. And there he went. My goodness gracious. Some of these guys may be private pilot. I don't know the answer to that question quite, but my goodness, we've seen some cars take off. It's a shame the way the camera angle is, the scoring pylon's in the way. But Craig, underneath Hugo Gallas, did he get contact there? Do we?
I don't believe so. He didn't come in the pit, so I assume he's fine.
We would assume. Let's take a look off the back of Craig Forsyth. Maybe we can see it. Difficult to kind of tell from the angles that we have available. There's Hugo. He might have net coded through Collins, but there was definitely contact there for Craig Forsyth, and he is on pit lane now. Back at the front, you've got Clindy, Wagner. Josh Ward is 3rd. Julian Altena 5th. Andrew Surowiak, who he had a wild ride of his own earlier. He's affected the fast repair. He is 5th. Daniel DeRazzo is 6th. Nick Wheeler 7th. Yari Brubaker is 8th. Gary Lovern, the longtime VOR campaigner, he has made his way back up to 9th after the strategy went awry. And Rick Sanchez is going to be 10th, and that's kind of where we sit. Will Stearns 11th. Jason Collins is 12th as the server blinks. Baron Glover, he's back in 13th. Hugo Gallas has also affected the fast repair, and that's the advantage. If you can kind of keep your car rolling, Ryan, and you get it back to the pit lane, that's a heck of a lot better than taking the tow. You can affect the fast repair and stay on the lead lap that way.
Yeah, just completely save your race, so to speak, because the tow is going to put you at least 1 lap down.
Yeah, and poor Craig, I think he might be day done. He has been on the pit lane for over 3 minutes. So whatever that contact was, it has likely ended the run for Craig Forsyth. A tough break collected in that accident. The rest of them will race on. Peterson, the cars that are laps down: Edson Santos in 16th, Alex Miller in 17th, Mason Mitchum in 18th. Those cars are 2 laps down. Forsyth in 19 is 3. Frank Wynn 8 laps down. Eric Peterson is 12 laps in arrears. He has been on pit lane for 12 minutes. Greg Robinson has retired. Alex Muller is still in the car, but he has been on pit lane for 30 minutes, 37 laps down. Shane Coker remains in the server. Never give up, Shane. 70 laps down, 51 minutes and counting on the pit lane. And Lith Fox is back on the lead lap, and we are going back to green flag racing here. Kyle Clinworth hits the loud pedal. He will accelerate away from Matt Wagner. Wagner trying to do the same from Josh Ward. We've got 8 to go, and if you thought the last 10 laps were wild, watch this. Now, Ryan, if you're Kyle Clinworth, are you hoping for another yellow, or do you want to streak away, use the cooled off tires to hold the white line and try to win this thing, or are you wanting another caution?
At this point, just go for the line. Just I can't really gamble at a caution at this point.
There he is. Matt Wagner almost cleared Kyle Clinworth, but not quite. And we're going to go 4 wide for the lead of the California 250 here in the Horizon IndyCar Series. Matt Wagner clears Clinworth. Clindy comes right back in lane 2, and we continue 4 wide for the lead. Josh Ward and Altena, their line is too high. They're going to fall back behind Clindy, but it's Wagner with the safety net of the white line. 4 wide again going into turn 1. Here's where those seams, those lanes that I was talking about earlier, and Ryan, we've got cars around in the back. That's Collins, Stearns, Santos. They are all around, and here's the yellow. We are going to get a 1-lap shootout, I believe, to decide the race. Let's see what happened. That's going to develop around Will Stearns and Jason Collins. And there's the touch. Those 2 cars are going to go around. They're going to collect poor Hugo Gallas. And then in piles Edson. He is unable to become the 4th man this evening to go under a spinning Indy car. He is collected out of the race. Tough break for those 3 cars. Stearns had already used his fast repair. Edson had already used his. And so they are now out of the run. Craig Forsyth continues to sit on pit lane under repair. He's been there for nearly 7 minutes. The lead is going to head back to Matt Wagner. Kyle Clinworth is second, Julian Altena third. And I would guess we are not going to see any further visits to pit road here, Ryan.
Not at this point. You want to stay out, especially if we only have 1 lap left.
Now, if I was Jason Collins, Jason Collins in 13th, and he's got damage anyway, but if I was like 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, Lith Fox, I'd come in and grab me some tires because you're already back there anyway. But with it likely being a 1-lap shootout, lights are still on the pace car, so it's going to be a 1-lap dash. I don't know that getting tires here is going to really help you all that much.
No, not at all. Especially, say, if the leader does a restart by the book in IndyCar terms, where you rush the line at full speed.
Yeah, and how you restart this is going to be so key for Wags, because there's 2 schools of thought here. Go early, try to build the lead, and make second place come get you. And then we've also seen it done where you leave it as late as possible, and really only Matt knows what he's going to do here. All Clindy can do is react. It is not advantageous to have that big gap, though. You don't necessarily...
It isn't like... The reason why I like going early at full speed, because normally the second place car is right behind you, so they don't have the room to slipstream and get a run.
Now, on the flip side of that, Clindy, he does not want to be right on the gearbox of the number 6 of Matty Wagner. He wants to lay back just a little bit, maybe go just a hair later to let Wagner get out. The goal for Clinworth is going to be to build such a run that he can get around Wags no matter what Wagner does, right? Wagner's going to want to get out. He's going to want to grab the white line, and he's going to want to hold it as the server glitches. There it comes back. Just keep breathing, baby. Just another couple of laps, right? But Wagner's goal here is he's going to want to get out. He's going to want to grab the white line. Clindy's goal is he really, really, really wants to build such a run that no matter where Wagner goes, he can't block it. Altena, He has a shot at this, but he needs to build a bigger run than Clindy. And really, the pass has to be made before you get to turn 3. If you're still behind somebody going into turn 3, it is going to be very difficult to edge them out coming to the line.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're looking at, fans. We're going to have a 1-lap dash for the cash here in the inaugural race of the Horizon IndyCar Series. Series founder Matt Wagner is your leader. Kyle Clinworth second. Julian Altina third. Those are going to be the cars on the front row. We might see Josh Ward sneak up there and make it 4 wide. Durazo, Surwack, Brubaker, Lovren, Sanchez, and Gallas round out your top 10. Nick Wheeler and Lith Fox are on the lead lap. And really, with the way this can go, any one of those cars has a shot. Pace car is off.
Green, green, green.
Wagner chose the slow approach. And we've got contact we've got contact all over the back of this thing, but the race will stay green. Clindy does have the gap. He did not stay in the slipstream. Josh Ward gets it sideways. We stay clean and green to the front. Here's Clindy. He's going to flash to the outside, and we got cars all over on the back. It's going to come down. Are they going to throw? They are not going to throw the yellow. There is no yellow. We are 4 wide, 3 wide. Clindy and Wagner, you could not fit a piece of paper between those two. Wagner to the apron.
Run to the line.
It's going to be Matt Wagner. The timing and scoring is saying .001. My guess is it is closer than that. Ryan, let's see if we can't get a better look at that. And I'll try to slow it down.
Yeah, to use horse racing terms, it was by a nose.
Whew. I don't think I'm going to be able to grab it. What a finish to the inaugural race here for the Horizon IndyCar Series. I'm having a hard time even catching my breath after that, Ryan. Matt Wagner is going to be your winner, 0.001 seconds over Kyle Clinworth, who finished a mere 17 thousandths of a second ahead of Julian Altina. The front 4, Daniel Durazo is going to finish 4th, 57 thousandths of a second. We had 4 cars within what amounts to a half of a tenth, Ryan. 5th, Andrew Surwack. 6th, Hugo Gallas. Lith Fox comes all the way back from that accident to run 7th. Rick Sanchez, 8th. Yari Brubaker, 9th. Josh Ward is going to round out your top 10. In 11th, Nick Wheeler. Gary Lovern is 12th. Alex Miller, 1 lap down, 13th. Mason Mitchum, 14th, 2 laps in arrears. Barron Glover and Jason Collins also 2 laps down. Will Stearns out of the race. He's credited with 17th place. Edson Santos is going to come home 18th, 6 laps down. Frank Wynn, 8 laps back in 19th. And Craig Forsyth never did get repairs affected in the 99. He will run 20th in the 99 machine. 21st, Eric Peterson. 22nd, Greg Robinson. Alex Muller, 23rd. Stephen Lee, tough break for him tonight. He is out in 24th. Montgomery Spencer, 25th. Votive Series Director Shane Coker, 26th. Brian Greenlee, 27th. And Josh Cruz is going to round out your field. 28 cars tonight. Josh Cruz, 28th on the evening. Let's see if we can't, Ryan, let's see if we can't get some of our contestants up here and in the booth. We're not having not having much luck with the replay controls. There's Julian. All right, let's see if we can't get some drivers up here to talk to, Ryan. How about that?
That would be incredible.
Let's do it. Nobody wants to listen to the music, at least from me. We have Clindy in the waiting room. There's Julian Altena. Let's go ahead and bring up Jules. Julian, Mark Murphy, Ryan Eric King in the P1 broadcasting booth. How, that was close, my man.
Not you guys. I'm just kidding. No, that was really close. Yeah. I'm a bit sad that, I wasn't really able to mount a proper challenge because let's be real, the bottom line in clean air is just so OP. But it was pretty fun. Shame about the yellows, but like Matt said in the post-race briefing, that's to be expected for a first race with everyone here together. Most of the guys know each other, but there's also a bunch of people that don't regularly race each other, including me, for example, because I'm in Europe, so I'm going to go to bed after this. But it was really good. Everyone was really clean for the most part. I did see one pretty bad block, but like I say, just first race problems. But overall, Matt did a great job on organizing the series. Was just a great race overall. So, not much to really comment.
One of the things I got to ask, Julian, and you and I have raced together a lot. You stayed out under an early caution and did not come and take fuel when it was, I don't want to say it was obvious, but it was fairly clear that it would cut a pit stop. Were you guys gambling on track position or another caution, or did you think that you might be able to stretch it and still cut that stop?
Oh yeah, it's a big if, and ifs don't get you anywhere. But if it stayed green from there, we would have won the race easily, 1-2. We were driving through the pack, Gary and I were, and we rejoined the track around 5 seconds behind the pack. So if it stayed green, we would have been 5 seconds in front of everyone. Just shame that it didn't work out that way, but yeah, that's just the way it goes. And we still came away with a double top six with Hugo at least, and Gary unfortunately getting taken out just sums up his night pretty well. He got screwed over by the yellows twice tonight. So shame that happened to Gary, but I'm pretty confident that we would have won the race if it would have gone green, but probably wouldn't have happened either way with that yellow because we got more yellows later on.
Gotcha.
But, the strategy was to gain that track position and then swap to stay in front and pull away. That was the strategy. But
absolutely. Ryan, do you have any questions for our third place runner, Julian Altena, this evening?
No, I think Julian explained his strategy going into this race, well, during the race, and man, I just still can't get over how close that finish was.
Absolutely.
I was yelling myself. I was saying it's a dead heat. It's a dead heat.
It was close. The official margin 0.001. Almost as close as Forsyth and I at Indianapolis, which was 0.00024. But what a run tonight, Julian. Third place, bottom step of the podium. Congratulations to you in the inaugural race of the Horizon IndyCar League. Any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors you'd like to get in before we turn you loose and let you go to bed this evening?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys. Mark, it's good that you realize that driving... I'm just kidding.
Old and slow.
No, I'm just messing with you. No, seriously, great broadcast. Can't wait to watch it back. Want to thank Matt for the organization as always with this. Like I mentioned already, first time for everyone here today, and it was a good race. Want to thank Lovers Incorporated on the side of my car, as well as on Gary's. Check it out, loversinc.com. It's more relevant to the US market for you guys. So it's mold removal and other construction stuff over there in the States. So check it out, loversinc.com. IFS Personal Financial Planning. Of course, check out my own league as well, Velocity Online Racing. Gary does a lot of stuff with us, and you race in it as well. So yeah, check that out. We got DW12s on Fridays and IR18s on Saturdays, both European time zones. So if you're in Europe, watching this back at some point ever in life, and you hear this, we might still be around then. Just search Velocity OR on Twitter, and you can find a Discord link there. Even if you don't have an account, you can find a Discord invite over there. That's just the easiest way to get in. Also, just everyone who came out tonight. It was a great race, like I said. So thanks, everyone.
Absolutely, Julian. That is Julian Altena. He runs third today in California. We'll go ahead and drop him.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and drop Julian back in the waiting room, and we'll go ahead and grab second place finisher Kyle Clinworth. And Clindy, that was close. Did you know it, or did you think you might have nipped him?
I could see his front wing side by side, but I knew it was really, really close. If you're gonna lose a race, you want to lose it by .000, right? I did everything I could to try to win that race and put myself in a position to win the inaugural race of here in Horizon and win that watch. But I came up a quarter inch short. So I'm all smiles. I had a blast. Really, really wish Matt wasn't as good as he is, because, well, I guess it's a blessing and a curse. In turns 1 and 2, he took an unconventional line, and not that it threw me off, but I thought I'd get him on the bottom anyway, and I just probably needed an eighth of a mile an hour more from just sticking in the draft, just a hair longer, which I didn't do. So I put something in the memory bank, learned a little something today, which is good. And then off of 4, we touched side pods twice. I gave him 0 room. So I was glad that he was good in 3 and 4, and I was mad that he was good in 1 and 2, I guess.
Absolutely. Ryan, you haven't had the occasion to talk to the national treasure that is Kyle Clinworth. What would you like to ask the man we know as Clindy?
Well, Clindy, I'd like to get in your mind, in before we knew that this was going to be a one-lap shootout for the win, what was your game plan across that final stint of the race?
The final stint, I was saving as much fuel as possible because I was anticipating there to be a yellow. However, I was like 1.5 laps short of making it to the end. So I was hoping that one of the last cars to pit would not take tires and spin on pit exit like somebody had earlier in the day, just because it was a little slick down there. So I was hoping I would just win by being the last car on the racetrack. That was my strategy prior to the caution with, I think it was 20 to go. And when that caution came out, I'm like, okay, we're going to bolt on tires. I'm going to put an extra 1.5 gallons in the tank, and I'm just going to let it rip. So that's when you really saw us all race 100% for probably the first time all night.
Yeah, and when you guys did go at 100%, it was absolutely wild. So I know it stinks to come up an inch or two short, but heck of a show tonight, Clindy. Any friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs you'd like to give? The floor, sir, is yours. Not that you don't ever get the floor anyway, because you have half the floor every Monday with me, but the floor is yours on Wednesday.
Well, now I don't feel so bad about hawking my sponsors and saying hi to Mom at home. So, hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Dana. Hi, Jesse. Hi, Craig, my #1 fan. Not Craig Forsyth, unfortunately. I'm still working on that one, but my cousin Craig.
He's number 2.
The owner of Segerman Farms, who's on my car out in Minonk, Illinois. And if you need any connection with Wiffle's hybrid corn, you can get in touch with me, and I'll put you in touch with Craig. And I'm sure we can strike up some corn deals for anyone who's looking to farm or do farm-related purchasing. Also, I've got on the side of my car, and I'm here tonight because of the Votive Racing League. This league was born when we thought the Votive Racing League was not going to happen, and Wagner stepped in and took over the Wednesday night slot, took most of the drivers that were going to show up to Votive, and we're all here in Horizon now. And Votive is now back, right? So we have Votive Sunday night starting in February, and we've got Horizon on Wednesdays, so it's double the fun for everyone at home watching on P1. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel, because P1 Broadcasting is the last sponsor I want to thank. All 3 of these guys give me the drive to wake up and race every day of the week. And obviously, my wife is the one who lets it happen. So she gets the biggest thanks and the biggest love from my heart because she's the best human being on the planet. A couple more shout outs, if you don't mind. I've got a buddy, Brent, who's going to be hosting me next week in Virginia Beach with my buddy, Mark. I want to say hi to both of them. And my buddy, Graham, who might be coming, but we're not sure. And then all of my teammates at Rogue Racing. I don't have any teammates in this race today. In fact, it felt like everyone out there was my enemy, but even myself. But to get past that, everyone was friendly, and the racing today was awesome in Horizon. I can't express enough how much fun I had on the track tonight, and I can't wait for next week, or the next race if it's in a couple weeks, whatever that may be. I don't think I'm missing anyone, so that's my spiel, and I'm sticking to it. I don't think I lost by 2 inches, Murph. I think I lost by like a quarter of an inch. It was very, very close.
That could be. My internet's been struggling. We've had massive snowstorms here in northern Indiana, so I think the fiber might be frozen. But I wasn't able to get a good replay of the end. But I'm sure that you and your technological genius will figure out a way to get us a screenshot. But Kyle, we'll let you get out of here. Say hi to your wife, and we will see you next week.
Yep, stay safe over in there. I'll see you in the future.
Absolutely. That is Kyle Clinworth. He is the winner. He is the second place runner today. And for the win, let's go ahead and bring up series founder Matt Wagner. Wags, you and I talk a lot. You and I talk a lot. Pretty good friends, but never in this capacity. So first of all, congratulations. You pick up what had been an interesting situation. You get these guys back together to run on Wednesday nights. You form your own league. I know that had been a goal of yours for a while. And then you win what was an absolute barn burner of a last 10 laps.
Yeah.
Kind of walk us through. You've got Clindy behind you. Kind of walk us through what your thoughts were leading up to that final restart, and then how you managed to hold him off, because that's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy at all. So when he was holding low on the bottom, as you know, you run the top, you get the momentum coming off the corner. So I let him have the bottom. I noticed I had a little bit of a gap behind me, so I stood up top trying to gain momentum off the corner. And as soon as I got up to him, I used the draft as forward momentum. And somehow, miraculously, I was able to not really pinch him, but clear him off the corner. That was just, wow. I was actually stunned, because you have to lift just a little bit, because if you don't, you're going to murder the car next to you. And the last lap, that was a scary one, because I thought it was a sitting duck. And you know how sitting ducks are, because I thought, it was a good race while it lasted. And somehow, miraculously, as you well know, this league has a bottom, and I won by .000? Triple zeros?
It was less than 1,000. So the official margin is .001.
Wow.
It has to be. So the closest recorded IndyCar finish is between Forsyth and me at the Dark Horse 500. That's true. That one was .00024.
Oof.
This one might have been our timing and scoring will round it up to the 1,000th, but this one has to be somewhere in that neighborhood. We're gonna have to go to iRacing and get the telemetry for it, but it was awful close, Matty, for sure.
Yeah, I was a little bit scared on the backstretch. I know we were four wide going into turns 3 and 4, and I thought for sure that I lost that race. I thought he had it. I thought, you know what? As soon as I get down to the bottom, I think I'm going to lose momentum because of the bumps down there, and I don't know if I would have held it on the first groove, that I would have came across first. That's just unheard of. It's not every day you win your own league, and that's kind of winning the debut. That's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So back on the member site, they were listed as a dead heat.
Really?
Yeah, 000.
Oh, I know. If I can pull up a file, Peterson showed me how to do it. I'll have it recorded. I'll ask him to do it. He can go by the tens, hundreds, thousands, the 10,000s of a second. He can nail that down by, and he'll post it in the Discord chat. But wow, that's just incredible. What an incredible finish. Thanks to you for Plenty for racing me clean there. That's really respectful. Really respectful.
It was. You could not have fit a sheet of paper between the two cars, but I don't think I ever saw you touch. Matt, you get the win tonight, your own league, the first race. It's an absolute barn burner. We had a ton of people watching. Everything here tonight can be termed as an absolute success for you. With that said, any friends, family, sponsors, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to, the floor, sir, is yours. You are the winner. And you're the boss.
Oh, not exactly, but thank you to you for bringing my confidence level up so much, and thinking about some of the stuff you said to me a while back, and I kind of put it to me and think about the race a little bit longer. With fuel strategy, I get that from Craig, and the confidence level I'll give from you. I really do appreciate that. For the guys who had bad races, it's the first race. Growing pains will happen. I got my admins reviewing everything. If you guys have any problem whatsoever, please discuss with me, and then we'll have a nice little chat. Thank you guys at P1. You guys are great in the booth as usual. Hi, Gary. Shout out to Gary, by the way.
Yeah. He's working.
Anyway.
He's working, man. He's at Bathurst right now with
I love that track
with FIS. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thank you all so much for broadcasting this. It means so much to me. I really move forward from here. It's really great. Thank you all so much.
You're more than welcome, my man. Congratulations on the big win. Congratulations on the league. And you and I'll talk. Talk later. But keep going fast and having fun, Matty. You've earned it.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. That is tonight's winner, league founder Matt Wagner. He is. We'll go ahead and get him out of the broadcast booth. Let him go celebrate. Ryan, that was something else.
Yeah. We always see close finishes here, but tonight was different. We had literally less than 100th of a second decide this.
Yeah, not only did we have, literally of 100th of a second, we saw two guys, Matt Wagner and Kyle Clinworth, that are kind of in different places in their iRacing tenures. Matt Wagner is as old of a pro as you can get, where Clindy is very much at the beginning of his IndyCar journey. And so, to me, that was almost a clash of generations. Matt has been around for a number of years. He has been absolutely 100% through the wars. Clindy, again, he's very fast, but he's very new to the car and the community comparatively. And it was really neat, not only for me to see the old guy prevail, because as you know, I'm an older guy, but it was also neat to see the respectful racing between the two. The young gun tried, but he came up just an inch or two short tonight, and that's heartening to me. I race a lot with Matt, and so I was very happy to see him win. Very happy to see Clindy come home in the middle step, and Julian's an old friend too. So for me, it was wonderful to see all three of those guys have a really good night. Speaking of a really good night, we do have a really fun week planned for everybody here at P1 Broadcasting. So this is not the only race or the first race. It might be the inaugural race in this series. But we do have, I know that this weekend a lot of us are going to be at virtual Daytona for the virtual Rolex. Sunday, if you want to take a break, I will be doing the Classic IndyCar Series at 3 o'clock. That's with Andrew Wood. So that's the old school IndyCar, but we'll be on the air with that one, 3 o'clock on Sunday. And then back to the normal Monday night. Clindy and I will have the top split open race from Mid-Ohio. Gary is going to be in at 7 o'clock or 7:15, or excuse me, Gary will be in with the nightcap. That is the SimMotion ISRA Open Wheel Series. That's at 9:30. That's going to be from here at Fontana. Tuesday, we're going to have the IndyCar Oval top split from Chicagoland. And then back next weekend, the Formula Indy Series from Texas. Do want to also let you know that Thursday and Friday are no longer free. Our good friends at the American Motorsport Association are going to begin their season February 13th and 14th with NASCAR Xfinity Series action. And that organization does their championships in reverse. So their feeder series is the Cup, their middle tier is Xfinity, and their highest level of championship is the Truck Series. That'll be Thursday for Xfinity, Friday for the Truck Series, and that'll be live here on P1. I'll be behind the microphone for the American Motorsports Association. For everybody at P1 Broadcasting, Ryan Eric King, our founder Gary Godsill, and all the people that work so hard to make this network a success. We do want to thank everybody that was watching. If you can, please hit that like button, smash the subscribe, and if you want a chance to win a watch, put your name in the GoFundMe, throw us a couple of bucks, and Matt Wagner will put your name on a slice of pizza for the spinning wheel, and you'll have a chance to grab one of Mark Cohn's watches. We do want to thank our first responders, firefighters, policemen, EMTs, all the people that do the hard work, military, all the people that do the hard work at night so that we can lay our heads on the pillow in peace. For Ryan Eric King, Mark Murphy, so long from California. We will see you next week, same time, same bad channel.